Most people think debt is a financial trap. They see their credit card bills piling up month after month, their loans weighing them down like a heavy burden, and their paycheck barely covering the minimum payments. It feels like a never-ending cycle, where the harder they try to pay off their debts, the more they seem to owe. But what if I told you that the wealthy don't fear debt? In fact, they use it to their advantage, turning borrowed money into a tool for financial growth. They don't just survive with debt, they thrive because of it. And the good news? You can too. If you're struggling financially, if you feel like debt is holding you back, then you need to hear this. Because today, I'm going to show you how to turn debt into a powerful asset that works for you, instead of against you. You'll learn the key difference between bad debt and good debt, why most people get trapped in financial struggles, and how to shift your mindset to start using debt strategically. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, actionable plan to improve your financial future. Let's start by understanding why most people feel trapped by debt. The reality is that the average person uses debt the wrong way. Instead of borrowing money to create wealth, they borrow money to consume. They use credit cards to buy things they don't really need, expensive vacations, new gadgets, designer clothes, without thinking about the long-term consequences. They take out car loans for vehicles that lose value the moment they drive them off the lot. They finance furniture, electronics, and even daily expenses, believing that as long as they can make the minimum payment, they're in control. But the truth is, they're not. They're stuck in a cycle of bad debt, where their money is constantly flowing out of their pockets, never working for them. Let's look at the numbers. According to recent studies, the average American household carries over $6,000 in credit card debt, with interest rates often exceeding 20% per year. That means that if you only make the minimum payments, you could be paying off that balance for decades and end up paying 2 or 3 times the original amount you borrowed. And that's just credit cards. When you add student loans, car loans, and personal loans into the mix, the total debt for the average person can quickly climb to tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the worst part? None of that debt is making them money. It's all money going out, never coming back. That is what we call a liability. But here's where things start to change. The wealthy see debt differently. Wealthy individuals don't fear debt because they understand something most people don't. Not all debt is bad. In fact, some types of debt can be incredibly powerful. The difference is in how the debt is used. This is what we call leverage, the ability to use borrowed money to create more money. Instead of taking on debt to buy things that decrease in value, the wealthy borrow money to buy things that increase in value. Think about real estate investors who use bank loans to acquire rental properties. They put down a fraction of the money themselves and borrow the rest from the bank. But instead of that debt becoming a burden, the rental income from the property covers the mortgage payments, leaving them with a steady stream of cash flow. Over time, the property appreciates in value, and they can refinance or sell it for a profit, all while their tenants have been paying down the loan for them. The same principle applies to business owners. Many successful entrepreneurs start their businesses with borrowed money. But instead of using that money to fund a lifestyle, they invest it into something that generates revenue. They use loans to buy equipment, hire employees, or expand operations, knowing that the return on investment will outweigh the cost of borrowing. Even major corporations use debt strategically. Companies like Apple, Amazon, and Tesla borrow billions of dollars, not because they're struggling, but because they can use that money to expand, innovate, and increase their profits. The question is, how can you apply this same strategy in your own life? The first step is to understand how to transform your debt into an asset. This means borrowing with a purpose. Instead of taking out loans to buy liabilities, you need to take out loans to buy assets, things that put money back into your pocket. Let's break it down with some real examples. Real estate investing. One of the best ways to turn debt into an asset is by purchasing rental properties. Let's say you take out a mortgage for a property that costs $200,000. Instead of living in it yourself, you rent it out for $1,500 per month. Your mortgage payment, property taxes, and maintenance cost you $1,200 per month. That means after all expenses, you're left with $300 in profit every single month. Over time, the property increases in value, and you can refinance it to buy more properties. The key here, your tenants are paying off the loan for you, refinancing debt wisely. If you currently have high-interest debt, you can refinance it into a lower-interest loan and use the savings to invest in income-generating opportunities. Let's say you have $10,000 in credit card debt at a 25% interest rate. That's costing you over $2,500 per year in interest alone. But if you refinance it into a 7% personal loan, you cut that cost down significantly, freeing up cash flow that can be used to invest in assets. Using business debt to create cash flow. If you've ever thought about starting a business, taking out a strategic loan could be the key to building something profitable. For example, let's say you take out a $50,000 loan to start a small online business. If your business generates $5,000 per month in revenue and your loan payment is only $1,500 per month, you're left with $3,500 in profit, even after paying off the debt. But here's the thing. Most people make critical mistakes when trying to use debt to build wealth. They hear about leverage and immediately jump in without a solid plan. They see wealthy individuals using borrowed money to invest, and they assume that any type of debt can be transformed into an opportunity. But this is where things go wrong. Instead of taking a calculated approach, they rush into borrowing, thinking it's a shortcut to success. They don't take the time to understand the numbers, the risks, or the long-term implications of their decisions. They focus on the potential rewards but ignore the potential downsides. And before they know it, they find themselves trapped, not in bad debt from consumer spending, but in bad debt disguised as an investment. One of the biggest mistakes people make is investing in things they don't fully understand. They hear someone on social media talking about flipping real estate, investing in the stock market, or starting an online business, and they assume it's as easy as it sounds. So they take out a personal loan, swipe their credit card, or even refinance their home to fund their new venture. But they fail to do the research, to study the market, to analyze the risks. They overestimate profits and underestimate expenses. And then, reality hits. The rental property they bought sits vacant for months. The stocks they purchased lose value, or their business struggles to bring in customers. Suddenly, they're not just dealing with the pressure of running an investment, they're also drowning in loan payments, interest fees, and mounting debt. Instead of creating financial freedom, they've created a financial nightmare. So how do you avoid these mistakes and apply this strategy the right way? Here's a step-by-step action plan. Assess your current debt. Write down every debt you have and separate them into liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket, and assets, things that generate income. Eliminate bad debt. If you have high-interest credit card debt, focus on paying it off as quickly as possible before considering new investments. Borrow with intention. Before taking on any new debt, ask yourself, will this debt generate more income than it costs? If the answer is no, don't do it. Start small. You don't need to take out huge loans to start. Begin with something manageable like refinancing a small debt, buying a rental property, or investing in a side business. At the end of the day, debt is just a tool. Used irresponsibly, it can destroy your financial future. But when used strategically, it can be the key to financial freedom. The difference between the wealthy and the average person isn't the amount of debt they have, it's how they use it. So, what's one financial decision you can make today to start turning debt into wealth? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more insights on financial growth and wealth building strategies.